You walking down the road and see a falling star, and you make a wish. Just remember, luck is no such thing. One man succeeds while another man fails. Why is it then you ask the stars up above, the planets of light, controls your very soul? Controls your very soul.
Hi, this is Z Starman, professional astrologer, numerologist, with a special edition of Astrology Numerology Now. On this edition of Astrology Numerology Now, we're going to talk about the upcoming Mercury retrograde happening in the sign of Virgo and then falling back into the sign of Leo. This upcoming Mercury retrograde is going to begin on August the 12th, 2017, and is going to last until August 5th, 2017. So we're going to talk about some of the do's and don'ts of what's going on during a Mercury retrograde. Now, as you all know, you've been watching this show live for the last 10 years on Manhattan Neighborhood Network and other network television. You should know what a Mercury retrograde is by now. A Mercury retrograde is when we look at the sky and the planet Mercury seems to be, or the key word here is appears to be, moving backwards. It's sort of kind of like the similar effect for most New Yorkers who ride the subway, and as you're riding the subway, and if you're on the express train, and you're passing the local train appears to be moving backwards even though it's going forwards. It's that forward motion, that optical illusion that we'll be experiencing during this upcoming Mercury retrograde. Now, Mercury retrograde affects everyone. It doesn't matter where you're from, what your lifestyle is, or what your profession is. Mercury retrograde affects everyone. Mercury in astrology is the planet of communication and information. So during this time, from August the 12th to about September 5th, the planet Mercury will appear to be moving backwards. So during this time, the communication properties and the information properties of the planet Mercury begins to slow down. Mercury is slowing down. And some of the do's and don'ts of a Mercury retrograde is that you don't sign on the dotted line, you don't sign contracts, you sort of kind of wait to analyze things as it relates to your personal life or what area of wherever Mercury is in your astrology chart. You sort of kind of hold up, wait a minute, and say, let Mercury pass. During this Mercury retrograde, Mercury is always a time when we put the word re into effect. Reanalyze, reconsider, reactivate, reconnect, redo. See, these are the things that we have to do during Mercury retrograde. We can't force business deals. We can't force contracts to happen. It's a waiting time. And again, this Mercury retrograde is going to happen in the sign of Virgo. It's going to affect Virgo people and Virgo rising sign people. And it's going to, once again, it's going to begin on August 12th. And then it's going to retrograde for your seasoned astrologers. It's going to retrograde. The retrograde is going to begin at 11 degrees of Virgo, and it's going to retrograde back all the way into the sign of Leo. It returns to Leo on August 31st. So Mercury is going to come back to Leo to take care of some unfinished business in the sign of Leo, and it's going to be in Leo until it begins to go direct on September 5th. And then it's going to come out of the sign of Leo. It'll be back in Virgo on September 9th, and it will come out of the shadow of its retrograde, meaning that it will be back to the place where its retrograde began on August 12th, on September 19th. So Mercury retrograde is basically an 8-week period. See, Mercury retrograde begins when the sun is too far ahead of the sun, or Mercury is too far ahead of the sun. So since it is in a mutable sign, then it's in a fixed sign, so I want all my mutable signs, especially Virgos, Virgo rising sign. If you're a Cancer, or not a Cancer, but if you're a Gemini, watch out for this Mercury retrograde. Also, if you're one of the fixed signs like Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo, this sign, this retrograde, as I said in my live telecast earlier today, is going to be a game changer. And all the fixed sign people, again, Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, and Scorpio, need to keep their eyes open. One of the things that we're having is a lunar eclipse on August the 7th, and we're having a solar eclipse on August 21st. It's going to call the Great American Solar Eclipse, and you're going to read a lot about it during this Mercury retrograde period. Again, this is a game changer, and a lot of things are about to happen. Now, let's very quickly talk about Mercury retrograde through the signs. If you're a Virgo, Mercury is retrograding through your first house. With Mercury in the first house, it changes how you think. We're on camera 4. It changes how you think, how you feel about yourself. It gives you this inspiration to motivate yourself. And this is for all you Virgo people out there. If you're watching this, whether it's on YouTube or if it's on live, your Mercury will be going through your first house, so it's asking you to change something about your personal self. And it'll be spilling into your 12th house because it's going to retrograde back into the sign of Leo, so it's going to bring secrets from your past. Now, if you're a Libra, Mercury retrograde is going to be in your 12th house. It's going to be in your house of secrets and house of undoing. Libra, the worst thing that you can do during this period is be bad to yourself or worse to yourself or be your own worst enemy. With this Mercury retrograde being in the 12th house and Libra also, a lot of things are going to come out of your past. A lot of you Libras may be locked up going to jail because that's where the energy of Libra is. Secrets from your past is probably going to come to the surface during this Mercury retrograde. If you are a Scorpio, this Mercury retrograde is going to affect you in your 11th house. So a lot of Scorpio people get ready for your hopes, wishes, and desire. Those are some of the attributes of the 11th house, is to be delayed, is to be put on hold. And you're going to be going through some changes with some of your best friends that you won't be able to trust anymore. Some people will betray you. Watch out, Scorpio. Get ready for your people or friends, close friends, to betray you and turn their back on you and stab you in the back of your Scorpio. For Sagittarius, this retrograde, or people with Sagittarius rising, not only just for Sagittarius, but if you have Sagittarius rising or any of the aforementioned signs with those rising signs also, with Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising, this retrograde, it's going to be in your 10th house. It's going to be in your house of career. It's going to take a different look. People in the public will be seeing and looking at you from a different angle. It's also how to sort of if you got a publicist, it's time to get a publicist to promote yourself and sort of clean up your act. But some things from previous jobs and previous careers may come to the surface. If you're a Capricorn, for all you Capricorns out there, this Mercury retrograde is going to be in the sign of Virgo once again from August 12th to September 5th, and it's going to be in your 9th house. Capricorns, you have to get right with yourself from a spiritual point of view. And also with Capricorn, it's going to force you to make some trips and visit some long distance places that you need to go to, you haven't been to in a while. And also Capricorns, if you're considering higher education and going to graduate school or anything like that, it's time to plan for that. If you are an Aquarius or have Aquarius rising sign, this retrograde is going to be in your 8th house. a lot of people with 8th house Mercury retrogrades, they have to go through transition periods, go through loss of life periods. And also, it's going back to settle estates and money, because the 8th house rules sex, death, and estate. So if you're an Aquarius, get ready to be in funeral mode. Get ready to be sad. You know, Aquarius people, you're going to have a lot of people make their transition. And as I said earlier in the show, August 2017 is the period of transition. It's the period of endings for everyone out there. If anyone wants to talk to me, here's the number to call. 212-646-712-9999 is the number to call. We got a couple of minutes left in the show. If you're a Pisces, I'm going to talk about, if anybody's a Pisces out there, this Mercury retrograde is going to challenge you in your 7th house. So 7th house is the house of relationships. So a lot of Pisces people are going to be playing makeup to break up. And it's also go near the water to get some meditation period if you have Pisces rising sign. So Pisces rising sign, your relationships will be going to be tested during this Mercury retrograde. If you are an Aries, or if you have Aries rising sign, this retrograde is going to challenge your health. Aries, no matter what age you are, your health is going to be challenged during this period. Get a checkup. Don't be afraid to go to the doctor. And also, if you're an employee, watch your subordinates if you're an Aries, because they can stab you in the back. Now, if you're a Taurus or you have Taurus rising sign during this Mercury retrograde, your lovers are going to come to an issue. There's going to be issues with people who love you, who care for you, and also watch your children, because this retrograde is happening in Taurus's 5th house. If you are a Gemini or Gemini rising sign, this Mercury retrograde is going to be in your 4th house. It's going to affect family. It's going to affect your relationship with women. It's going to affect how you communicate to others. And if you're a Cancer people, or if you have Cancer rising sign in your astrology chart, this Mercury retrograde is going to force you to deal with brothers and sisters and taking short journeys and short trips. And also write. Cancer people, write out your thoughts and feelings. And last but not least, we have Leos. And again, Leo people are going to go through some major changes during this Mercury retrograde. Leo people, your finances, keep your eye on them. Watch your spending during a Mercury retrograde, Leo. So watch how you spend your money. Watch how you manage your money during a Mercury retrograde. This is Z Starman saying thank you for watching this special edition of Astrology Numerology Now, the Mercury retrograde edition. And as always, I'm going to say peace, love, light, namaste.